Quality. Okay, Christina, welcome to my show. Um, I have been really intrigued about what's been going on. I heard that you have recently been scammed.
Yeah.
This is a sensitive topic, but we know you've faced some challenges in the past. Could you share in your own words what happened with the scams you've unfortunately been through, please?
Yeah. So this week we unfortunately we became the victim of a $30,000 scam. KYK Hair Care had $30,000 scammed from the company. And essentially the way it happened was through us ordering with our regular manufacturer that we always order from. So we have an international manufacturer that we've been buying from for the last 4 years. And the last 2 years from the 4 years, we've been dealing with the same contact person. So our contact person is obviously very trustworthy. You had no issues ever with them. We have them
You've
on
been working with them for years.
years. Yeah, 2 years to be exact. And I have them on contact by email as well as WhatsApp. Now, to get into the detail and the itty gritty of it, essentially, six
Please.
weeks ago, we placed an order by email as we always do. Now, we got the invoice for the order, and included in that invoice, it mentioned that the bank details had changed. They wanted us to send the invoice to a different bank, not the regular one that we always send to. It was an American bank. And when we questioned it, they said that it was like an offshore international bank because we're an international customer. Like they prefer that we send the money there. So obviously, because we trust this person, we've been dealing with them for the last 2 years. We didn't question anything and we paid the invoice. Now, keep in mind that the email address was exactly the same. The invoice was exactly the same. They have the product quantities, the price, the details, our company details, the manufacturer company details, everything was on point. So there was no red flags. We
There was
paid
no red flags.
no red flags at that
Okay,
point,
that's what I was going to
nothing.
ask.
Yeah, no red flags. Everything looked absolutely normal. The only red flag at that point was the fact that the bank details had changed, which we questioned, but they had a reputable, explanation for it, saying that it was just an offshore international account, an American account that they wanted us to pay into because we're an international customer. So because we trusted them, we believed it, we paid it. A week later, they turned around and they said to us that the cost of ingredients had gone up. Now, this is something very common when manufacturing over the years. It's cost of ingredients change, like from every order, depending how often you're ordering, like from one year to the next with the economic and inflation, it's expected that the cost of things will change. So
Yeah.
I didn't find that very surprising. I thought that was normal. Again, no
Yeah.
red flag. And she just said, however, we're not going to charge you because usually if there's an increase in ingredients, that falls on the buyer, so on the customer that's purchasing. They said, we're not going to charge you for that. However, we need you to place a second deposit. Make a second payment, and that's just going to help us with the production. Okay, sure. Again, I trusted her. No
Did you
worries.
find that normal? Or was that a bit strange for you?
It was strange that they were asking for a second deposit because they've never asked for a second deposit, but the explanation was very legitimate. The fact that the cost of ingredients had gone up, I thought that was really legitimate. Like, I thought, okay, there's nothing suspicious there because it makes sense. So we paid the second deposit. Now, what happened was when we came to pay the second deposit, the banks actually flagged that it was a fraudulent account. They said to us, can you confirm with your manufacturer that this is actually not a fraudulent account because it's coming up to us as fraudulent? They froze our accounts, they stopped the accounts, and they said that they can't proceed. They won't release the money until we confirm that it's not fraudulent. So at this point, I'm getting frustrated. I'm like, what's going on? This has never really happened before. I don't understand why they can't just accept the payment. What's going on? I was getting really annoyed. So now I'm talking to my contact via WhatsApp and I'm questioning her and I'm saying, look, we paid the deposit. Why hasn't production started? Because I found that also really weird after paying the first deposit, the production hasn't started yet. And she was like, the money hasn't come through yet. And I was like, that's really weird because via email, she had mentioned that she had already received the first deposit. So I just thought maybe she's a bit confused because she's saying one thing but then saying another. That was a red flag right there that I just kind of maybe didn't see at the time. And she turned around and said that she hadn't received any of the payment yet. And I said, okay, well, it's been sent. Maybe there's just a delay with the banks because you're international, but it's going to come through. Here's the receipts. So at the time, I said to her, have your emails been compromised? Like, because we're emailing you and we're sending you the receipts and stuff. And she's like, no, my emails aren't compromised. Like, I'm in my emails are fine.
You're using Hotmail because they get compromised quite a lot.
To be honest, I don't know what the actual email is, but I just know that she was telling me that, you know, she can access them absolutely fine. She can get in, she's emailing, everything's fine. So again, at this point, I'm like, well, it must obviously be her emailing us. So if she's saying that she had, like, her emails aren't hacked, we
Sorry to interrupt. Have you done a police report?
no, a police report has not been filed. No.
Maybe they might be able to find who actually did the URL and use the system.
Well, the bank has been notified and a bank investigation has been opened. It's a minimum of 30 days. So that's definitely in action. And I think once we find out what the solution is after that, we can decide whether we need to obviously open up a police report and take it further and what the actions and the steps are going to be after that.
I think it'll be identified if they're really looking into it really deeply.
It just makes it complex because it's an international case. It's not like we're dealing with someone nationally. Like, you're dealing with international banks, you're dealing with an international scammer, an international manufacturer. It just complicates it that little bit more as opposed to if it was someone here in Australia. But yeah, going back to the scam, essentially, we made the second payment. We told the bank that they can proceed with the payment because we got the confirmation from her email saying that, you know, it wasn't a scam. She received the first deposit. Everything's all good. So the banks released the money. And then after the second payment was made, at that point, we've now paid $30,000. Between the two deposits, it's been $30,000. It's been 6 weeks. I'm then in contact with the manufacturer via WhatsApp. So this is the actual real person now that I'm talking to. And I'm like, what's going on? Why have you not started production yet? I need my production. We're really low on stock. What is going on? She's like, we can't start production without the deposits. And I'm like, the deposit was released a week ago. What do you mean you haven't received it yet? And it wasn't until we got onto a phone call with her that we realized that she was then not the person replying to her emails. So what we established was the scammer was actually intercepting, meaning that when we would email, the scammer receives the email, not the contact. And so the scammer would then reply to us, acting like her without her even realizing that the email even came or left. So her emails were not hacked in any way, shape, or form because she could still access them normally, but the scammer was intercepting to ensure that he was capturing all those emails and responding like her. And that's why it was done, executed so well, and it looked so believable, and it was so confusing because we thought
of having business like the bad ones. Yeah,
it's a very hard pill to swallow. Like, you know, you cry over losing $50 or $30.
How are these impacting you and personally and professionally?
It's been, I think the first week when I found out, it was shock. I was just in denial. It didn't feel real. Now that it's actually sinking in, I think the impact of it emotionally, it's been really hard getting my head around it, just because like this company and this brand was built solely on like my own self-funded without, you know, any external help. So for me to be able to just have $30,000 ripped from right under my feet, like, it's just really disheartening. Like, I feel like if I had made a business,
it's disgusting. Yeah,
it is
a horrible act, and I hope that this voice gets heard and this problem gets fixed. And I'll definitely be with you the whole way. I mean,
Thank you.
I mean, also, um, like what steps did you take to overcome this and rebuild yourself after?
So, what I've definitely learned from this is that you need cyber insurance. And this is the message that goes out
That
to
is so important.
small business owners. The one thing that I learned, I didn't even know cyber insurance existed. I didn't know it was a thing.
Most people don't, yeah.
So I found out, and now I'm spreading awareness. Cyber insurance is so important. But it's like almost like one of those things, until you get stung, you don't think you need it. And it could have saved me all this hassle and stress and drama. But essentially, you're not insured. You're really not insured. Like your
Yeah.
indemnity insurance doesn't cover it, your liability insurance doesn't cover it. It's got its own insurance, cyber insurance. And like it will just help protect you for any future scams, whether it's like your clients get scammed and then they come after you as a business, you'll be covered. So cyber insurance is definitely something that we're going to now implement at KYK Hair Care, and
Yeah,
that we
that's good.
recommend for everybody else to do.
That's great to hear. My next question to you will be, what advice would you give to other entrepreneurs, especially those starting out, to avoid similar situations?
Be very careful. Like, question everything, double check everything, be paranoid. If your gut feeling is telling you something, it's probably telling you something for a reason. Follow your instincts. And just trust nobody, in the sense that if you think something's off, it might probably be off. So it's also part of the
Probably
journey.
some sort of Indian person over the keyboard doing it. They're usually the people that do all the scammings that we've been hearing of throughout the whole year.
There is a lot of that going on, and I think it's getting more and more common,
Yeah.
and it can affect anybody. Like, it could be anybody that this happens to, and I think it's just really important to be aware, and to just be protected. So if you have your cyber insurance, you'll be protected, and I think
Yeah.
nobody's invincible.
Yeah, sure. And what resources or support systems did you find helpful during this hard time?
To be honest, my biggest support has been the hair industry and our community and our social platforms. I was a bit hesitant at the start to share the story and tell people what was happening, but I thought about it and I said, you know what, the same way I get to share with them all my highs and all the fun and exciting stuff that is involved with the business and all the
Yeah.
success, I think it's also just as important that they know the reality, the real truth behind running a business, because it isn't always smiles and it isn't always
No.
positive and it isn't always profit. No, there are massive losses, there are massive risks, there are massive gambles and massive hurdles. And if anyone is ever thinking about getting into it, they have to be aware of what they're potentially going to be exposed to. So
Agreed. Yeah, definitely.
for me, I went on there and I shared my story, and the support has been absolutely phenomenal, from uplifting words to people being so encouraging and supporting to just telling me that, it's going to be okay. And just strangers, people across the world, people from other countries, everybody's just reaching out, sharing the story, bringing awareness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you think you'll regain trust in the industry after all these scams?
I think because I'm very honest and I'm very vulnerable and raw and authentic, I think people can see that. People appreciate that. They know that it wasn't my fault. They know that a scam is a scam and it can happen to anybody. It happens to the best of us. It's not like I came out with a product that was a flop, or I came out with a product that was toxic and I burnt someone's hair. So I don't think I've lost anybody's trust. I think it's just made people more aware and appreciative that I was able to share this, be vulnerable, and bring awareness to other small businesses to prevent it from happening to them also. So I hope that there is no negative effect as a result, whether
I will
we...
pray for you that it comes back. And I will definitely, I will definitely pray every single day for it because that is a big amount.
It is. And that's what I've been saying to everybody. Like, at the end of the day, the prayers are the most powerful. Like, it's not even about the actual money. Like, yes, 30,000 is a lot, but it's the
Money. Yeah,
principle that was around it. And
exactly. And yeah,
yeah.
sure. What are the legal actions taken against the scammers if
So,
you...
yeah, at this point, there hasn't been any legal actions taken because we're still quite early on in the process. We have opened the 30-day investigation with the bank, which we touched on a little earlier, but essentially the international banks are now taking the matter into their hands with their investigations.
Great.
Based on their outcomes and based on what they come back with and what they say will determine our next step.
Yeah, lovely. What are the ways to protect yourself from scams from today onwards?
Definitely cyber insurance. That's the biggest one. It is a little bit pricey, but I think just like any other insurance, you get it for peace of mind. And I think it's like, yes, you might be paying $2,000 this year for your insurance, but it might save you from a $30,000 deal. So in the long run, it will save you money. And who knows, it like, you know, could have been worse. It could have been 100,000. It could have been 150,000. Like it could have been whatever.
Could have been a big amount as well. You're right.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Well, I hope that this honestly comes back, and I really am here to support you on that. And
I really
wish you all the
appreciate it.
best. And I really, really, really wish it comes back. I'm happy you shared it as well, as it's a really hard thing to share.
It is. It's important though to be honest and raw, I think, especially in today's day and age and with social media, people want to see what really happens behind closed doors and they want to know the
Yeah.
truth, even if it's
Yeah.
you know,
Most people don't share the truth.
they want to know the truth. Yeah, and that's why our community is good like that. But people always show up for each other, and I'm so grateful that one, I have my faith to lean on, and my faith during this difficult time to be able to turn to, because I know God's in my corner and He's got my back, and I'm so grateful for that. And I know that no matter what, you know, there's a reason for everything, and He's gonna make it all better.
Definitely. Agree.
That, and everybody else should just know as well that, like, at the end of the day, it's just our path. This is our journey. Things will get better, but there is always hardships along the way.
Sure. Thank you for sharing that, Christina.
Thank you.